don't even know where to begin. You know, I really wish I could be one of those people that could proudly say, I never understood the appeal of David Dobrik. He's not even funny. He's always felt like a diet Jake Paul to me. But nope. I was a pretty big fan of David. As recently as, I don't know, a few weeks ago when he did that house tour of his $9 million mansion. Yeah, it was that recent. And I've been sitting here for the past few days just trying to figure out how in God's name did I ever think that any of these people were funny. I think Yvonne Tang put it perfectly in her article when she said, it seemed as if Dobrik always knew how to encapsulate the most exciting moments in life, whether it was a montage of a huge party or an elaborate prank on his friends. I completely bought into what he offered. But just because someone is likable doesn't mean they can't be toxic. Scotty, this video pissed me off. He came off so fucking smug and condescending. It's giving me victim blaming Karen energy, babe. And the fact that David allowed the least problematic member of his crew to be in the line of fire before he even addressed anything says quite a lot about the friend who supposedly doesn't have a mean bone in his body, Scotty. I'm sure most of you know who David is, but for those who may be out of the loop, David Dobrik is basically what happens when you give a 14-year-old boy millions of dollars. He is the cult leader of what's known as the Vlog Squad, a group of kind, charismatic white people who occasionally enjoy traumatizing their friends for views. I am truly ashamed that it took me this long to realize just how shitty they actually are. First Shane, now David. I'm clearly a great judge of character. This whole situation has made me realize that David's not even that funny. Even though Wikipedia describes him as a comedian for some reason, he's not even funny. It's more so the people that were around him and some of the bullshit that he filmed that was funny to me. He mostly just laughs obnoxiously behind the camera. The way that he handled the Seth situation already told me everything I needed to know about who he really is. And then he finally released a statement and it actually made him look worse. You see, David and the Vlog Squad don't usually address scandals because they're too good for that. And it's been working pretty well for them. Up until now, of course. I can just tell that David didn't want to make this video. I mean, for fuck's sake, it's 2 minutes and 31 seconds long. And the video's titled Let's Talk, and yet no one's allowed to like or dislike. No one's allowed to comment. Hey David, I think you meant to title this video Let Me Talk. He addressed nothing specifically. I mean, if this was his lawyer's idea, honey, I think you need to hire a better lawyer because what? His apology to Seth was just so half-assed. Again, didn't even really say what he was apologizing for. So if you didn't know what was going on before, you damn sure weren't gonna figure it out by watching this video. He posted it on his least followed platform. Of course, he placed blame on Dom and other former members of his cults, trying to take some of the heat off of himself. Didn't work. Also, I just want to mention, I think Dom is a fucking predator. With all of the women coming out with their stories about him, I am fucking disgusted that the Vlog Squad platformed this piece of shit for so long. I think he's dangerous, and I think he should be in prison. David said he always gets consent for anything that goes in his videos. Okay, so to be clear, Seth gave you consent the first time you tricked him into kissing Jason Nash. So Trisha gave you consent to continuously make those threesome jokes about Tana after she expressed how uncomfortable she was with it. Did Emma Chamberlain give you consent to put a caterpillar on her after she already told you she has an extreme phobia of caterpillars? And I'm sure those girls back in 2018 gave consent to have sex with Dom for your threesome bit after they were under the influence of alcohol, right? Because that's how that works. Also, even if someone did say yes, do you not see the power imbalance there? I don't think David really understands what consent actually means. Mama Dr. Jones, who I love, actually just made a very informative video about what consent is and what it means to actually give consent. I'll link that down below in the description box for you guys, so check it out. I'll also leave Philip DeFranco's video down below, Ethan and Gila's, Dr. Grande's video, just in case anyone is still unaware and is lost as to what the hell has been happening these last few weeks. I'm honestly just really upset that I didn't see anything wrong with this group sooner. I think I just assumed that everything was set up, because David did do that at times, or that it was all consensual. When in reality, there seems to be this sort of frat boy-like culture that involves a lot of pressuring and intimidation and manipulation. I really didn't think twice about it, and I regret it. And it also did help boost his image whenever he would give away nice cars to his friends, or give away MacBooks to students, or $10,000 cash to a stranger in need. It gave me and a lot of other people the illusion that he was this nice and caring and considerate guy who gave to people in need, when in reality, most of those videos were sponsored by SeatGeek. So, I should have known that David wasn't shit when he said on his podcast that he would still be friends with a Trump supporter. Yeah, he really did say that. Look it up. It was like 2017 or 2018, I want to say. Him and Jason were both like, yeah, I'd be cool with a Trump supporter. Who cares? Wow. It must be nice being a straight white male and not have to be concerned about your friend's bigoted political views. Unfortunately, as a black woman, I don't have that luxury. But no, I gave him the benefit of the doubt and was like, you know what, maybe he's just so out of touch with politics that he just doesn't know how bad Trump and his supporters actually are. I think it's safe to say everyone knows how bad Trump is. I think we all knew back then. I think we all know now. For him to say that, it makes sense. He grew up in wonder-bred suburbia, where you're apparently a sensitive asshole for being offended by anti-Semitic jokes. One of the main things I've learned from all of this is that David only really cares about the clicks and the money. This is someone who humiliated his own friends, someone who would put his friends in actual danger. This is someone who sexualized women in his thumbnails to his impressionably young audience. This is someone who directed and orchestrated disgusting situations that made people extremely uncomfortable. He even said in his podcast that he lives by the philosophy, don't ask permission, ask for forgiveness later. Doesn't sound like consent to me, David. This is someone who is okay with discrediting someone solely because they have a mental illness. Big yikes. Let's keep it a buck. David Dobrik has profited off of sexual exploitation, and it doesn't really seem like he's that sorry. If you wanted to just make videos to make people happy, then why did you choose to traumatize and humiliate people for views? I don't think he thinks he's done anything wrong, quite frankly. I think he's more so annoyed that he finally has a scandal that is affecting him financially. He's already lost several big sponsors and has even stepped down from his app Dispo. In my opinion, it's deserved. Now, just hours before I started filming this video, David actually posted a second apology, this time to his main channel, and this time with likes and dislikes enabled and comments turned on. Yeah, good thinking. I watched the whole thing. It is longer, thank God. It's about 7 minutes or so. He seemed to get a bit more emotional in this one. He went into more detail about Dom and apologized to the victims that he chose not to listen to before, and he did acknowledge the power imbalance that was there that he did not realize was there before. Sure, it's better than the first one, although it's not that difficult to do better than the first one. He still didn't fully apologize to Seth, didn't even mention Seth at all, actually. He mentioned Trisha's name, but still refused to apologize for actually hurting her. No mention of Big Nick at all and how wrong it is to joke about people's disabilities. So many things he still refuses to address. I agree with Trisha when she tweeted, "This would have felt more sincere 6 months from now after he's reached out to people directly, after he's donated to causes, researched, and educated himself. 3 days after you attempting to discredit people isn't believable. Just 2 weeks ago, David sent Scotty texts to try and discredit Seth's stories. Last week, his lawyer sent 4 paragraphs to Insider discrediting me in disgusting detail. Sorry if I don't buy that he's changed and wants to hear people out now. A few days for a miraculous turnaround? And then there were some posts on the H3 subreddit. How are people falling for David Dobrik's apology? He said himself he stopped filming with Dom in 2019. He did not say he stopped being friends with Dom. He stopped filming with him. Dom's apology to Ali Hardesty was in 2017, which David commented on praising Dom. He is not sorry at all because he would have severed all ties with Dom in 2017 when a victim came forward. On top of all of that, David was seen with Dom early 2020 and have had interactions up until this article. David is only apologizing because of the heat. He is not sorry because he enabled and continued to be friends with a rapist. David mentioning Ali Hardesty without addressing the fact that despite her fighting for Dom to be exposed, he had continued to give him a platform. David said a bunch of words, but nothing came out of it for me. If this article had never come out, Dom and David would still be friends. This is all to save face and continue to manipulate his young audience, and it's working. Too little too late. People praising him for being real and raw. Pleased. If he actually felt remorse for his actions, he would have spoken up days ago. Instead, he sent his goons to do his bidding. The emotion you see is not guilt or remorse, it's fear. He's literally losing everything. Of course he's emotional, and of course he's going to channel that emotion to make it seem like he genuinely cares when his past actions have shown he does not. I truly hope people see past his facade and actually hold his enabling ass accountable and deplatform him. Hell, he can disappear for all I care. I find it really odd how he says he should have been in the room with Dom and the victims, making sure they were okay. No, David, your first mistake was feeding them alcohol to get them to go in the room in the first place. How are the sheeple so naive? Everyone's like, I love you and forgive you, David. Don't be mean, he's struggling. Guys, the victim struggled more than him. What about Seth, Big Nick, Brandon, Jason, Trisha issues? He took weeks to say sorry a couple times, blamed the whole thing on Dom, and tried to act like he wasn't a part of it. And people have the audacity to say, everyone makes mistakes, teehee. All his victim-blaming fans were always gonna forgive him. They never believed he was in the wrong to start with. Narcissist loses sponsorships. Narcissist sheds a few tears. Everyone, oh, I forgive you, it's not your fault. Before you sympathize with David, remember he made this apology video after losing nearly all of his sponsors, not to mention he is the last person out of anyone in his situation to take accountability. Article has been out for days and allegations have been out for years. What pushed him to make this video is that he was losing sponsors. Don't forget that David's lawyers and friends were discrediting Trisha right up until David lost everything. It's pathetic that people don't apologize until money is involved. Say what you will, but David didn't put out this apology until after he started losing money. Had he not gotten backlash from sponsors, then he would have ignored it just like everything else. And that don't sit right with me. Call me a hater, I don't care. I don't buy his apology. Too many jump cuts, as well as him not addressing some other things people were calling him out for. I'm baffled that people literally switched sides again and are not supporting him. Like, I'm confused. Anyway, this is about the victims, and I hope they get some closure and everyone involved is punished. I hope Trisha and Ethan do another live response. He never addressed whether or not he was the one asking people to get alcohol. He never addressed who got the alcohol. He never addressed what he meant by master negotiations. He never addressed that they were looking in the room. He never addressed the going to prison joke at the end of the night. He just said he was taking accountability without saying what he did wrong. It all just seems very convenient. Like, oh shit, I just lost all my sponsors. Okay, I need to make a better video stat so I can get the people back on my side, so I can then eventually get sponsors back and keep making obscene amounts of money. With the combination of the timing of the video and still not addressing so many fucked up things, I feel it's insufficient. And I personally will still not be supporting him or anyone still associated with him. Do I think his career will legitimately be over? No. I think, unfortunately, he will still have millions upon millions of fans and enough money to last him the rest of his natural life. Even if it all ended today, the career opportunities, financially, he would be doing just fine. I just hope at the very least he learns from this, like truly. It would be such a shame after going through all of this if he just didn't grow as a person. I really hope that he just changes for the better and that this is a big wake-up call for him. To the victims and to anyone who's been made to feel uncomfortable by David and his cult, I believe you and I stand with you, always. And to David, I hope that fruit punch fountain was worth it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.